show with Comrade Lante Oriake, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. The Comrade Show with Comrade Lante Oriake, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. The Comrade Show with Comrade Lante Oriake, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show. The Comrade Show.
Yes, hello, Nigerians across the world. Very good evening, good morning, good afternoon to you all, depending on where you are joining us from. This is the Comrade Show, and of course, this is the segment we call the Comrade and Friends. I'm in the house with the Musketeers of the Comrade Show. There are a number of issues evolving presently across Nigeria. Very recently, we lost the Nigerian Chief of Army Staff to, what's it called, to a crash. At the same time, another breaking news that took place was that the governor of Cross River State, Governor Ayade, crossed over from PDP to APC. So many questions in the lives of Nigerians. A number of things happening. At the same time, within the mix, we hear that Shekau, the leader of Boko Haram, has reportedly, died, in a clash between his Boko Haram terrorist movement and another terrorist organization. We're going to touch all of these things. There was a matter we're supposed to look at yesterday. The governors of the southern part of Nigeria reaching a resolution and demanding certain things from the federal government of Nigeria to ensure that Nigeria sails smoothly or sails better than we have it right now. And within the same mix, there's already an agreement by the governors of Nigeria and the federal government of Nigeria to increase the price of fuel in Nigeria, petroleum pump price. And all of these are matters that appear, to be making Nigerians wonder, where are we going? What is happening? There's so much confusion everywhere. Of course, you know that the Comrade Show would use the Comrade Show to try to look at some of these issues and, of course, discuss these issues. I had in the house with, the team of the Comrade Show, the Musketeers, I call them, the comrades of the Comrade Show, and we're going to be looking at these issues one after the other. But we're going to be starting with the death of the Chief of Army Staff. But before we do that, let me quickly bring on board members of the team. I have in the house a Musketeer, one that we all know, who is part of this program, the Comrade and Friends, and one who has nicknamed the Comrade and Friends the Sunday Tonic. He's not other but, for the sake of this program, Comrade Pharmacist Iremiran. Comrade Pharmacist Iremiran, please, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte, and to our viewers, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here as our Oga Lamte talk, our Sunday Tonic. To our Christian brothers, I want to say Happy Pentecost Day. You are welcome again to our Tori. Join us and let us deep in and talk about situations in Nigeria and in those states. God bless you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Iremiran. God bless you so much for joining for that. I equally have right in the house my brother Of course, for the sake of this program, you all know him. Is the Doctor of Lectures. That's what is called in some circles. He's not other but Comrade Dr. Tony Agbons.
Yes, thank you very much, Comrade Lamte Ikponsa Oriaki. Our people, I greet all of you. Thank you for joining us again on this, our Sunday tonic, as given to us by our brother Austin. I would thank you all again for joining us as we look forward to a great program today.
Okay, without much ado, my people, let us just quickly go into the matter. Some days ago, the Chief of Army Staff of Nigeria, that's talking of Lieutenant General Ibrahim, what's it not by? Atahiru, yes. Was involved in a plane crash wherein a number of Nigerians died, about 11 of them, if I'm not mistaken, and all of that. But the big fish inside this matter is the Chief of Army Staff. And of course, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday that he was buried and all of that. Dr. Agbons, can you take us into this? What's really happening? What is this matter about? This is a big issue as far as Nigeria is concerned.
Yes. First and foremost, I want to send my heartfelt condolence to the families of all our gallant officers who died in that plane crash on Friday in Kaduna. It is a very sad development. So I commiserate with the Nigerian Armed Forces and the government of Nigeria, and indeed all Nigerians, especially the families. Like I was saying, to off camera, I said, this is one crash too many. I think this should be the third military crash we are having in a very short time. It is not it's not something that we should be experiencing all the time. When military aircraft are shot down during combat, we can say, okay, it was during in battle, but for routine transport movement, and for these planes to just be falling down from the sky the way they are happening now, it leaves so much to be desired in the heart of so many of us. So I know that there are a lot of permutations about this crash, but for me, I just want to wish the family the fortitude to bear this loss and the Nigerian people over this recent sad event. That is my take.
Okay, very good one. This is about the third time within a short time that we're having something like this happen. Pharmacist Remira, looking at the Chief of Army Staff and this situation that has happened right now, do we smell a rat from your own point of view? Pharmacist. Pharmacist, can you hear me? We may be having some glitch with the pharmacist. Dr. Agbons, while we wait for the pharmacist to probably, log out and log back in, do we smell a rat having to do with this plane crash? Because there are those who are actually who have expressed the opinion that the Chief of Army Staff was working very hard to redeem Nigeria's image, particularly as it has to do with confronting Boko Haram and the terrorist groups that have held Nigeria hostage. Now, this happening.
My brother, Comrade Lamte, when it comes to the issue of of Nigeria, you cannot take anything away from the table. So when people talk about smelling a rat, there are possibilities which we cannot take off. But my gut feeling, at least for this one, my gut feeling is that this could have been more of a technical problem with the military aircraft, and that is where I will talk about our standards and maintenance issues. That is it for me, basically. So I don't. My gut feeling is not really pointing towards an insider's job and all that. I don't really. I'm not really pushing towards that direction.
Okay. I want to play a particular clip. Okay. And let's listen to some revelations from this particular clip and let's see if it gives us any idea.
Now for all. Anybody they see before. The thing happen. Then they up. As the thing happen from up, now they are play. Come. Then they come out with those things where they parachute. They hold on like this. They are two of them. Then they come from up. The aeroplane come, turn the mouth, come down. As then they come, people they say, now rider in they do, now rider in they do. Now they this one don't pass right out. As you fall, now the fire blow. After that, those people they come land for that side, for up there. But we don't know where particular the place where they land. But we see that the time where they take the come. We know that we know exactly there with somebody there inside because we know they are among of them. We never reach the place. We never reach the place.
But there are two.
Not let this place we run the pond. Whether somebody go there, where we go rest.
One is right there. There are two. But nobody has. Hey, stop that now. Hey, what are you?
Pharmacist Ramira, are you back?
Are you back?
Yeah, thank you. Good night. Can you hear me?
I think we hear you a bit better now, sir. So I was asking, over this matter of
thank you so much.
Ibrahim Attairu, do we smell a rat? Particularly given, of course, the submission of these witnesses this witness we just watched, Pharmacist, can you hear me?
I think his system is delayed. But if I can come in here, Comrade Lamptey. Yes, I know you have asked this question before about this smelling of rats. Even as of yesterday, this last video clip.
Go ahead. Hello, Dr. Amos, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I saw Austin, coming. Austin is really delayed in, I think, his connection. So that video clip, it's been said that it was for another crash that took place previously.
Okay.
Yeah, because some people were analyzing it yesterday, so it's not linked to that of the Chief of Army Staff. So I just want to quickly clarify that one. Yeah. Okay. So again, I just want to let our audience know that the Chief of Army Staff was going to attend a graduation ceremony in Kaduna on Saturday morning. So they took off from Abuja on Friday, and the plane was going to land at the military base in Mando in Kaduna. But we don't know why the pilot had to now move towards the Kaduna airport. and then the crash took place. So for me, I will say again, this is my gut feeling. I'm not a military expert. I'm not an aviation expert. My gut feeling is that this has got to do with engineering and technical issues. So people have suggested since yesterday that this is the third crash. What is happening with our maintenance standards and all that? So these are some of the areas that I feel we should begin to look at to stop, the killing of our young officers. Because if you look at this army chief, it's quite young. Even ADC, the pilot, one of them just got married 2 months ago. One is preparing for his wedding. So these are all young people, and brains for that matter. We're just losing them. So we need to make sure that we maintain our aircraft properly to avert this kind of disasters.
Very well. Thank you very much for that. On that clip, for that quick correction, because the thing really made the round, and I thought that it was connected to this. Having said that, do we have Austin in the house now? Comrade Austin, are you there? Have we corrected things? Can you hear me, Austin?
Maybe he can contribute using his phone for the meantime.
You can hear me? Sometimes we cannot control this thing. Anyhow, let's quickly move to another subject matter. This one is, for me, it's a bit, it's mind boggling. It's a bit one of the shining stars, I would say, of the People's Democratic Party. The governor of Cross River State is one man who had been very exemplary. And all of a sudden, a few days ago, what we saw was that he was defecting from PDP to APC. And the defection had actually sent so many tongues, saying different things, as it were. Everybody is confused, particularly with some APC, shiftings, boasting that before 2023 presidential election, Nigeria would have effectively become a one-party state, in that very many governors would have defected to the APC. Now, why this is an issue that is worth talking about is a few months ago, Governor Umahi, from the eastern region, equally defected to the APC. And now we have another governor defecting. And they have boasted that the defection of the governor of, I think, Zamfara State is imminent. And a few others all around. Now the question is, what is happening? What is happening here? Dr. Agbons, what is happening here?
First of all, I will tell you that I'm not really surprised about these defections. And I must tell you, comrade, that we are going to be having more of this as the next cycle of elections draws near. We are close to the middle of 2021 now, and our politicians, they are already calculating, and they are permuting, and they are thinking of where they will be in 2023 if we get there as a nation. So this defection of Governor Ayade in the South region this week has not come to me as a surprise. I will even be surprised if we don't have more defections. Like you have stated, Governor Umahi in the Southeast started this, and we all thought maybe that was going to be the end of it. Our politicians, they are what they are. They cannot be trusted. They have no ideology. There's no political ideology. So, as far as they are concerned, political parties are just vehicles that moves them to power. And we are going to see more of this. So, but this is part of the issues we have with the brand of politics that we practice in Nigeria. So, where there are no laws. So, if there were laws that made it possible for when you defect, you lose your position, things like this will not be happening.
Okay, the question I'd like to ask Dr. Agbonsis, is this healthy for our democracy?
It is not healthy. It's not healthy at all. This is I would say this is more than a malaria. This is an organ failure for our democracy. If I'm allowed to use that medical word in my description, it is not healthy. It happens even with the legislators. They do it, but now the governors are taking it to another level. What exactly is happening with his political party, the PDP, in Cross River State that he cannot manage? He is the governor. So, but it's not because of the fight for 2023 positioning, control of the party in the state, because he's been having issues controlling the party machineries. So, all these things are just for their own personal aggrandizement. They don't care about the people. But this is sad enough because he is one governor that, like you said, has been, a lot of us, is young, is been shining, and kind of somebody that people really like and love. So it is quite surprising that he has decided to take this route.
Let's take this caller, bro. Hello. Hello, we can hear you. No. Hello? I'm sure that's a caller not interested in our matter. Go ahead, sir.
So, for Governor Ayade to have defected the way he did, I would say it's self-seeking. It's our politicians generally, many of them, they are just self-seeking, because I don't think the crisis he is alluding to in his party actually warrant this. It doesn't. So it doesn't warrant him, just changing carpets and moving to the other party. So, but like I said, comrade, we are going to have more of this. And what most of us are suspecting is that more governors from the People's Democratic Party, they may be switching to the APC as we move towards 2023.
Okay, let us listen to what Governor Ayade, said. I mean, credit to Channels Television for this, for this interview. But I just want to play an excerpt of it. I was trying to find from his lips, personally, reasons behind this defection. But let's take a listen, and we'll come back to this.
My decision to move has nothing to do with my relationship with PDP. It has everything to do with my understanding of the challenges of this nation at this time. My respect for the integrity, character, and quality of leadership that President Muhammadu Buhari has brought. I feel depressed when the nation is challenged with security issues. Instead of us to rise as a nation and orgasmic whole, to see how we can support the president to deal with these foreign headers that have actually colonized our various roots and farms. We rather sit back on our escapist explanation syndrome to tend to create an impression as if government is not doing well. When the people are challenged, it's the responsibility of those in society who feel that they have the calibrating machinery to reduce tension, to find ways and means to reduce the level of ebullioscopy that had characterized the nation for some time. I therefore took a decision to join the APC with a full intent to support Mr. President to bring to an end the almost near cataclysm that has beset this country for some time. It is therefore not driven by mere political ideology, but the philosophical and existential point that this nation is tending towards a brink of collapse. And we must support the president. So I stand strong I stand to support the young people of Nigeria with the massive unemployment, hunger, and the crisis that has been around for so long, occasioned by the systemic failure of Africans. Nothing to do with Nigeria, as it were. A continent bestowed with so much wealth, about the largest deposit of tantalite right here in Nigeria and Democratic Republic of Congo. A blessed continent like Africa, yet black has become a source of shame. Black is no longer a color, but a reflection of people who cannot rule themselves. So the choice to actually join APC is to calm down the nerves and to speak to other governors. You say it's better for us to come together and support the president through a succession process that can allow us have a peaceful transition, to the shame of the international community that imagines that Armageddon is besetting Nigeria short Sunday. My decision to move has nothing to do with my relationship with PDP. It has everything to do.
Dr. Agbons, when I listened to this, I saw a man making a case to defend the president, in his failures, to say all that is wrong with Nigeria right now is not the fault of the president. And so he's defecting to support the president, to arrest the situation and all of that. Does this make sense?
Pure rubbish. Apologies to our viewers and those who are watching us. Nonsense. You see, just look at the body language of Ayade. Himself is not convinced about what he has done. Look at the body language. Look at what he's saying, talking about Congo, talking about the black man. It was just rambling all over the place, trying to justify what he has done, something that lacks justification. It is nonsense, absolute nonsense. So there's nothing he has to say. He has defected for his own personal reason because of political calculations for the next election in 2023. That is it. And we have to stop this carpet crossing. And it's all part of the lawlessness in Nigeria, that somebody can defect and keep his position. It's nonsense, my brother.
My brother. Anyway, I think we have Austin back. Austin, are you there? Can you hear us?
I am. Good evening, my brothers. I'm back. Can you hear me?
Very good, sir. I don't know if you are following the debate, the discussion about Ayade's defection. Ayade, governor of Cross River State, defected to APC, and the excuse he's making for his defection. If you can take it from there.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lampton. But just before I proceed, I want to apologize to our viewers. I've been having huge technical problem, and I'm so sorry for that. And also to thank yourself and Tony for holding forth. And I've been listening, but I couldn't join. So thank you so very much for that, especially my brother Tony for all your input. It is rather sad, quite unfortunate. When I listened to Ayade on the day he defected, a part of me was totally dead. Dead in the sense that he is a young man. I thought we were going to have.
Austin, sorry, just before you continue, let's just take a minute of this caller. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. This is the Comrade Show. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Edwin, and I'm calling from Massachusetts in the United States.
If you can speak louder, sir, it will be very nice, so that people can hear you, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm calling from Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Edwin.
Go ahead, sir.
And honestly, I feel a bit depressed. I'm not too happy with the things going on in Nigeria. If I want to really start from the defection of Ben Ayade, the so-called professor, I see he's playing the typical old pattern policy. And unfortunately for him, I do not think he actually knows the actual time we are currently. He wants to use the old pattern of policy thinking he could speak all the kind of English he could speak to deceive the entire 200 million people. The truth is that he had his own personal agenda. There is no way we can believe all those tracks that he is talking about. That's one point I want to make. The death of Army Chief is an unfortunate one, and really send our condolence. But I have my own opinion, and my fear is that politics, the Nigerian politics have crept into the military. From what I'm noticing, I think this very Atahiru Ibrahim
Yes.
was once removed from his position in sometime 2017 by the former chief Rata.
Yes.
And he's not really having a cordial relationship with the other chief. I think the politics is playing in here. I don't want to say much about it. If we go close and look at what's going on, Buhari himself is more confused than ever. Something is playing. They are playing politics here. We should be very careful not to allow some of our finest militaries and pilots to be dying by the day. If they want to play their politics, let them leave the army and come into the political field and play it openly. Let's know that, yeah, they are politicians. I think this is my own contribution. They should stop killing our
young people,
our generals and our finest soldiers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother, for your call. That's a very incisive one. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, Austin, please, is it possible you can position your camera to be on landscape so that we can capture your image, very well? I think that's better, sir. That does it better.
Is this better now?
So yes, you can very well go on.
Yeah, I want to thank my brother Ernest from the United States for that very beautiful contribution. Like I said, it's surprising. A part of me was dead when I was listening to Governor Ben Ayade make that declaration and subsequent defection. What we see from young people who we thought would give us hope are suddenly becoming like the old block again. Whatever reason he has adduced, that doesn't hold water. You don't necessarily need to defer to APC to join the president in changing the course of Nigeria's situation at the moment. In fact, it will be better you doing it in opposition and doing it well. So that's really, according to my brother Agbons, sorry to use that word again, it's absolutely nonsense and it's not acceptable. We also hear recently that some members of the State House of Assembly has refused to defect with him. So that's going to cause another problem in a state that has got its own personal issues again, and that's going to weaken governance as well. I think my brother Tony mentioned this before. I will still take this to the National House of Assembly, who promulgated that law sometimes ago to say that when you defect, you remain with the position, you carry the governorship toga. If we introduce this in Nigeria, you are free to defect. It doesn't really matter, but you shouldn't defect with your position. As soon as you defect, there should be a by-election to fill in your position. My brother Lamte, and for our viewers, if this is introduced in Nigeria, I can assure you that nobody will defect. You will only defect if you know that you are carrying the people along, and come shine on any platform, you would win. So it is a very sad thing. And everything is boiled down to 2023. Only God knows if we will see 2023.
Dr. Agbons.
Yes.
Are you confident that 2023 will come?
My brother, I know that we have not talked about the security situation in the country yet, but I'm afraid my answer now will be no, in view of all that is happening. There seems to be no solid will on the part of government to solve the security problem the ethnic agitation, regional agitation over the land. I was watching the news this week. As we speak, about 21 offices or thereabout, offices of INEC have been attacked and burnt down. So there's a lot of anger in the land, frustration. So if these things are not sorted out, some of these politicians who are just dreaming of 2023, they may be chasing a wild goose chase.
Okay, a wild goose chase. That's it. Let me quickly come to our viewers. Please, if you can call in, we want to make this program very participatory. Let it be, interactive as it were. Call in. But if not, you can leave your comments on the comment section. Of course, we'll try to read out some of the comments. I have this one from Steve Osara. He says he may have been blackmailed into APC. He may have been blackmailed into APC, according to Steve Osara. When they flash your naked picture with a woman and proof of your lootings in front of you, with the option of either to join them or to go to jail. Well, that's from Steve Osara. I actually have this one from his Sam. Said this man is an orator himself. Ayade is just a disgrace. He's telling us all sorts of stories. He has no concrete ideas for defection. Austin, is there a possibility that he may have been blackmailed into APC? Even if they were, does it mean that all of the governors who have defected and the ones yet to defect, they are all being blackmailed into APC? Because the Governor Umahi of what state is Governor Umahi from? Ebonyi defected a few months ago to this APC. So if like Steve Osara is saying that he may have been blackmailed, if it's sanity to go by, doesn't mean that everybody is being blackmailed to APC right now. Particularly when what's it called? Former Governor Oshomole and former APC National Chairman famously said that no matter how sinful you are, wherever you are, when you become a member of APC, your sins will be forgiven. And following that, Akpabio of Cross River, right?
Akwa Ibom.
From Akwa Ibom, cross carpeted and joined the APC from the PDP with all the mounting corruption, case against him. Okay, everything was swept under the carpet. He was even made a minister in APC. Is that what we are saying, sir?
Thank you so much, my brother, Comrade Lamptey. Absolutely correct. I don't even think it's only blackmail. I think it may also be quite a number of other factors involved. So let's say it's multifactorial. But again, for me to be blackmailed, I must have sinned. Or they must have some black things that they know about me, which they want to bring to the open. So that draws another curtain, maybe not a subject for today, that in whatever position we find ourselves, no matter how small or big, we should maintain integrity and always want to do things right. But somebody would ask me, in a country like Nigeria, where everything is pseudo, not really true, almost everybody have soiled their hands. And once they know that your hands have been soiled, then the proponent of blackmail becomes very glaring. But in addition to blackmail, I also think these are leaders, and indeed this governor in particular, they are not credible, because sometimes you must stand for what you believe and stand for credibility. Don't always think of tomorrow that has not come. Think of today, because even if you are called today, you will only be judged by what you've done from the time you were born until today. But somebody once said in social media that the most optimistic set of individuals in the world are Nigerian politicians. You can tell them that black will be blue the next minute and they will believe, so long as it will promote their position, their ego, their make them rich in sense. So it is very, very possible. And remember, the SY governor of Edo State, made it clear. Come over to Macedonia. Your sins will be washed and you'll be granted everything that you need. And of course, these politicians want to go there because they want their name to constantly remain in the front burner, even though they haven't achieved anything. So that is what you are seeing, and that is what we may see for a long time until we change that law or that promulgation where should you defect, your position becomes vacant and you are now liable for election. I know some people may ask us, but some of us supported Governor Obaseki when he defected from APC to PDP. But these are different permutations. And understandably then, it was important that he made that move. But it's not something that we subscribe to. This has to stop. And it has to stop for our country to move forward. It has to stop for things to get better. We always go back, but come back again to talk about restructuring. If our countries were restructured, will you run to the party of the president just because you want to get cover? The answer is no. So it's a very bad precedent that have been set, not before, not with this government, subsequent ones. And I'm afraid if we don't nip it at the bud by changing that law, this may just be a recurrent decimal and it continue to be even for them. Once you defect to the party in the center, your sins are forgiven. You are now washed clean and you are righteous.
Dr. Agbons, is it better? Would it be better for Nigeria to just be a one-party state? All of us just stay inside one party. Maybe we disgwagwa ourselves for them. Would it be a better idea?
No, it wouldn't at all. I think being a multi-party state will actually be better for us so that ideas can flow around. But if we say it's a single party state, that would be full-blown dictatorship. Although we're almost practicing dictatorship. And I must say this, I think some of our viewers have put it on our chat here as well. I think the PDP has not been a vibrant opposition. I don't know what that party is doing. With all that is really happening in Nigeria, they are not proactive at all. They are not setting any agenda, you know? And we've repeatedly said this. So the PDP, I don't know, from the national chairman, secondos and all that, I don't really know what they are doing. There's a lot. Yeah, even as much as we will also blame Governor Ayade, and even Umahi, I think the PDP also they need to put their house in order, because if they don't, Ayade has said it. He said we are going to see more defection, so more people will also go. So I will even some of us have even clamored for even another bigger party to give the PDP and the APC a run for their money, because in Nigeria as it is now, if you are not in the PDP or APC, you cannot win an election. So that is where our problem is. So the Nigerian people, this is one area we also need to look at. Must it be that a politician must come out from APC or PDP to be able to win an election, either as a local government chairman, a governor, or a senator or House of Rep member? So this is another challenge, which I think is another issue, maybe for another day's discussion. So are we really okay with these two parties? So people just jump from PDP, they go to APC. When they are tired, then they go back to PDP. When they are tired, they go back to APC. So this is all looking like a game, and we are just making mockery of democracy. Nigeria is making mockery of democracy. I'm really sad to say this.
Yeah, Tony, Comrade Lamte, can I just come in just to talk about the party issue Comrade Agbons was talking about?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I also just wanted to say, I know in the course of positing, Dr. Agbons talked about us having another party so that we can counteract the party on ground. Whilst we were talking, something just came to my mind. I think this party, the APC, the PDP, was never in opposition. And I think they are rattled. Even 5 to 6 years on, they are still in that position of rattling. So they don't even know what to do It seems to be like they are just party for playing. They are just an extension of the APC, because parties in Nigeria are always formed with the intention of taking power. But it should not always be so. Parties are there for ideologies to continue to push to make the nation and the country good. But no party in our country, to be frank, my brother Tony, has ever learned what opposition is. PDP is just learning. I know if anything happens and APC becomes the opposition, we may just be seeing again the same thing, because they don't know what opposition really is. If AC and I think the other old party, I've forgotten the acronym now. CPC. They were in opposition for a long time with PDP. Perhaps if they were not clogged together and they remained their unit, we would have seen some form of opposition. But I think PDP, they are rattled. They don't know what opposition is at all. I just wanted to quickly possess that before I forgot.
You know, this point you just made, I have really expressed a lot of thoughts on this. The reason is because I still remember very clearly when Goodluck Jonathan was president, this APC right now, made up of AC and of course Buhari's CPC, when they came together, they gave Jonathan a run for his money.
Yeah.
They challenged every policy of government. They led Nigerians to protests, okay, against hardship and bad governance. They moved from north to south, east to west, all parts of this. And today we are having a government that is 100 times worse than what we had with Jonathan. And yet the PDP in opposition cannot come to the aid of Nigerians. PDP position cannot even organize Nigerians to get down to peaceful protests, and which is the language of the oppressed. You understand? Against this particular, repressive administration of, President Muhammadu Buhari and his goons. And what we now find is that some other elements of PDP who are supposed to be the opposition, like we say, okay, the other option, they are the ones now finding their ways to join the APC. So the question I want to ask here is this. I don't know how this may sound, but is it that it is the party APC that is bad, or it is the individuals that we have right now at the helm of affairs that are actually, giving us bad governance, as it were?
Yes. If I can come in here, Comrade Lamptey, I think it's a mixture of both. And why I'm saying it is that if you look at, though most of us were very young in the Second Republic, in the days of UPN and MPN and AM, those parties of those days, there were when you say you are MPN that time, everybody know your ideology. We know your manifesto. UPN, you will just say free education at all levels and other economic parameters that the party represented. But what we've been having since this 1999 is that we don't even know the difference between even when it was PDP and Alliance for Democracy and AMPP, then later all the other parties now came together, like Austin mentioned, the CMPP, the ACN, which AG, which now transmitted to ACN, which now transmitted to the APC, which we have today. Part of the AMPP also joined. You cannot differentiate them. They are just the same. So that's why these politicians, they find it so easy. It's just like moving from your parlor, you enter the bedroom. Then from your bedroom, you come back to your parlor and sit down again. So there's no difference. So to answer your question, the answer is both. Politicians themselves, they are greedy. They are just after their own pocket. They are just after, they don't know what is integrity, what to stand for, what you believe in. I will not even be surprised if some is it not in this country? We have seen after governorship nomination, people are not nominated. They just move to the other side, and then they go and get a ticket. So we even move to another party. That is even different from APC and PDP. They go to Labour Party, they go to, there are so many parties, I can't remember their name. They just go there, go and take ticket so that they can contest. So as far as they are concerned, political party is just a vehicle. It's a van that they use to move from point A to point B.
Austin, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, my brother Dr. Tony has said everything I just wanted to say. I just want to add a bit to it. Now we are crying foul of the political party. Even the citizens and the populace, some of them are even somewhat worse than even our party men. And like we are told in biology, cells come from previously existing cells. This is a microcosm of what happens in our small enclave that is forming this party. So it is what you cannot give, what you don't have. And that really has to change.
That has to change. Anyhow, we will have more time to dwell on this matter. There is no doubt about it. It's an open-ended matter. Ayade has boasted that more governors are coming. We have been told from different quarters that the governor of Zamfara State is on his way to APC. I think it was Zamfara was mentioned. As a matter of fact, somebody mentioned to me just this yesterday that the governor of Edo State, Governor Baseki, is likely to go back to APC with all that is happening right now, and of course with pressure on the governor to return back to APC. Dr. Agbons, is that a matter you want to to talk about?
Look, my brother Lamte, as I said it at the beginning of our discussion today, nothing surprises me anymore as far as Nigerian politics is concerned. It is the more you look, the less you see. So nothing surprised me. That is how I will answer that your question, my brother.
Austin, I had I don't want to call it a supersonic information, but somebody very close to the heart of the caucus told me that the governor of Edo State, if care is not taken, will be defecting toward the APC. He gave two reasons. That the APC chieftains are right now, doing everything to get the governor to move to APC, and with what is happening in Edo State PDP right now, making the governorship, the governors of Edo State, almost very impossible for the governor to navigate, as it were. So going to APC matter becomes an option for the governor. Austin, do you see this happening?
Thank you so much, my brother Lamte. Dr. Tony Agbons has reassured me over and over again that there isn't no difference between APC and PDP now in terms of integrity. They just move from their parlor to their kitchen to their bedroom. It will be a sad day for me if that happens in Edo State. I hope it doesn't, but it's a possibility given the present situation that we have. But I trust that probably it would stand on the ground of integrity. Now we are talking in speculations that it doesn't happen. And I think it's also a lesson for PDP at the moment that whatever situation they have, you can't keep bleeding and don't make any attempt to put a stop to the point where you are bleeding from. They've bled away 2 governors. It will be sad to see more go. They need to get their heads together, using Edo State as a case study, so that there will be no room whatsoever to give the current governor of Edo State any reason to go to the other party. I hope it doesn't happen. I pray it doesn't happen. It's not going to be a very good omen for polity in our country.
Dr. Agbons, as we speak, the governor of Edo State has not formed his cabinet. As we speak, Nigerians, Edolites all across the world, majority of them are expressing unhappiness at this development. As we speak, some people who are close to the matter understand that the reason why the governor has not formed his cabinet, commissioners, special advisors and all of that is because of the issues he's having to deal with in the party, which is the PDP. The man is under pressure, probably sometimes very confused about how to go about this matter because he's contending with people who want to ensure that things remain the old way. And the governor is committed to ensuring that things are not done the old way anymore and all of that. And to that extent, there has been this impasse as far as this matter is concerned. This is what some of us understand is happening. Now, if this is anything to go by, and the APC is going to be safe for the governor to govern Edo State properly, Dr. Agbons, would there be a problem if Governor Obaseki moves to APC?
I think, Comrade Lamte, your remarks, they are very tight. You have laid, a two-pronged argument on the table, and I'm going to take you on each of them, so that I'll be able to land safely in my articulation. Number one, we shouldn't deceive ourselves. And some of us already knew that this was going to happen. We all know how Governor Obaseki got to the PDP. It was a case of necessity is the mother of invention. So we all know that. And there has been a lot of political horse trading. We are also aware that before the PDP agreed to give him the ticket, there were a lot of agreements that they were reached. None of us attended these meetings, but these are all permutations. Now, these agreements have been reached. They are there. Now, the governor won the re-election under the PDP, and then it is natural. Members of the PDP, they believe that, oh, our time has come. We are not the government in power. So the PDP members in Edo State, they want to enjoy the benefit of having the governorship office to themselves by way of political appointment, knowing how our politics always play out. So we are also aware of that. But this is where I go to the second side. The governor and his team now has to find a way, because this for me is always the challenge of leadership. It now has to find a way. You have to find a way to get out of this logjam. Because, my brother, I must tell you that, just like you have said, there's a lot of frustration among people of Edo State, both at home and abroad, over the non-formation. Even before I came for this program today, somebody was asking me that, what is happening today? Somebody asked me today, what is happening to this cabinet issue? So the government has to find a way. So that is all I can say. Because some of us, yourself, myself, and Austin, we may not be privy to some of the, like you always say, comrade, some of the in this matter, we may not know. So, and it's not good for us to speculate, but the government has to find a way so that hopefully, maybe in the next 1 week or so, this cabinet team is done. This is my own suggestion. If I'm the governor now, yes, I'll go ahead and announce the cabinet. But I will give people standards. I'll give them performance indicators. If they don't perform, I'll sack them, and I will bring their scorecard for everybody to see. So because this thing is dragging too long, let's be honest with ourselves. So it's dragging too long.
Austin Ramiro, will there be a justification for Governor Obaseki to move from the PDP back to his APC? Will there be a reasonable justification?
Thank you very much. You've asked me two questions in quick succession. One is, would there be a justification? And just quickly, you then added, would there be a reasonable justification? The first question is, there will always be a justification to do everything. You may choose to drink water and be able to give a reason and a justification for it. But would that be accepted by the people? That's another question. Would that be a cogent and reasonable one? That's another question. So, yes, to answer your question, there will always be. But I would not want it to happen. And not to belabor issues, because my brother Tony has really dissected the issue on ground. I was reassured at the town hall meeting 2 weeks ago, a week ago. I was very happy. And I want to see that happen sooner rather than later. I must tell our viewers and even ourselves, all of us who are supporters of Edo State and by implication supporting the governor, we may not be able to hold this past the end of June. It may be difficult for any of us to legislate and justify. And against that backdrop, and with the current hemorrhaging of governors from the APC, I want to call on Governor Gordon Obaseki and the People's Democratic Party of Edo State to come together and nip this in the bud. Should it go otherwise, all we have been fighting for, which is Edo State, will not enjoy it, and the Edo State citizens will not be beneficiary of if it goes the other way. I will be coming back back to the table. So I want to appeal to the executive governor of Edo State and his team and members of the People's Democratic Party. Let us get together, solve this problem once and for all, so that Edolites in the west of Ambassador Matthew Biki Uwaifo will benefit from this.
Okay. Well, you guys, some of you guys are sounding like, particularly Austin, you are sounding like a PDP chieftain. But it's all right. we move on from there. Anyhow, Nigerians across the world, and people across the world, it's not an old news. This is one matter that is still very much to the lips of Nigerians. A couple of weeks ago, the Southern governors of Nigeria, under the aegis of the Southern Governors Forum, met, and of course, they reached certain agreements with themselves on what they think should be done for Nigeria, to be a more harmonious place, as it were, particularly, speaking against the backdrop of the level of insecurity that has bedeviled the country, Nigeria. And of course, they came up with a communique that had been sent by what we know to the federal government of Nigeria, that to the president of Nigeria, for him to act on, as it were, to rescue the Nigerian ship. And one of the major things they arrived at was that they were banning open grazing. That is people traveling with cows. You understand what I'm saying? Walking from north to south. And so they banned it, that there's no open grazing is allowed again in the south. And that has generated a lot of things, including, Malami, who is the minister of the Attorney General of Nigeria, coming to make some defense, anyway, I'll try to get that clip of Malami so that we can play to listen to. But in the meantime, let us hear, the communique released by the Southern Governors Forum, so that we know where we are coming from.
All of you, gentlemen of the press, I know you have been here since morning with us. We thank you for your presence and look forward to adequate coverage of this meeting. This is the communique issued at the conclusion of the meeting of the governors of Southern Nigeria in the Government House, Asaba, Delta State, today, Tuesday, 11 May 2021. At its meeting held today, the Southern Governors Forum reviewed the situation in the nation generally and focus on the current security situation, agitation and restructuring, prospect for interstate collaboration and partnership, as well as on the incidence of COVID-19 pandemic. Rising from the meeting, the forum agreed as follows. The forum affirmed that the peoples of Southern Nigeria remain committed to the unity of Nigeria on the basis of justice, fairness, equity, and oneness, and peaceful coexistence between and among its people, with a focus on the attainment of shared goals for economic development and prosperity. 2. The forum observed that the incursion of armed herders, criminals, and bandits in the southern part of the country has presented a severe security challenge, such that citizens are not able to live their normal lives, including pursuing various productive activities, leading to a threat to food supply and general security. Consequently, the meeting resolved that open grazing of cattle be banned across southern Nigeria. 3. The meeting noted that development and population growth has put pressure on available land and increased the prospect of conflict between migrant herders and local population in the south. Given this scenario, it becomes imperative to enforce the ban on open grazing in the south, including cattle movement to south by foot. The meeting recommended that the federal government should support willing states to develop alternative and modern livestock management system. 5. The meeting agreed that the progress of the nation requires that urgent and bold steps be taken to restore.
Anyway, it's a bit long clip, but I just want to take that. But I think the point has been made that the governors of the South, and that meeting was attended by 14 governors, 2 deputy governors, and 1 was absent. And all of that was a majority of the governors that came together, almost all of them, to take this decision to ban open grazing. But immediately after that meeting, one human being, I probably don't want to dignify him by even mentioning his name, from a Fulani man from the north, had this to say. Let us
without me, it's against me. Ask all those, whatever, 13, 15 governors that met in that hotel. Was there any of the Fulani leaders consulted? Any of the Fulani leaders consulted? So they are there making laws for people that they have not consulted. This is a problem with government. Disconnected, out of touch with realities of people. You must sit down and talk with people you are making laws for. None of that those governors have sat down with Fulani leaders in wherever they are and tell them what we are planning to do, or what we're going to do, or what alternatives are there. And then they are sitting down there and making laws.
All right.
Be careful.
Well, now wow, this country. Dr. Agbons, I don't know if you saw that. Austin. Now, this human being came out, okay, and said they met in one hotel. In fact, he's talked about the certain governors. He talked about them in disdain. Okay, he dressed them down. That they did not consult with Fulanis. Okay, before they went to go and hold a meeting in a hotel. Okay, and all of that. Now, days later, the Attorney General of Nigeria came out and told Nigerians that Nigeria has it as a law. Freedom of movement is a law that the southern governors are, contravening, as it were, that they don't have a right to ban open grazing. Dr. Agbons, where would you situate all of these matters?
My brother, Comrade Lamte, first of all, let me applaud the southern governors, the 17 southern governors. For the first time, Nigerian politicians, we always bash them. We punch them a lot. They threw away partisanship. They threw away political party affiliation. And they stood for the nation. So we must commend them for that Asaba declaration. Yes, having said that, I want to say here that it is laughable to hear the comment of the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice. But I've been phoning some friends who are lawyers, and I'm like, so you mean this man is a son? How did he get there? Because the context of his speech was so lopsided. It was so low in thought. So, and I shook my head and I'm like, no wonder Nigeria is where it is. That this is our Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He's misinterpreting the law for personal reasons, saying that the Constitution guarantees freedom of movement. Yes, freedom of movement of people, not of cattle. What the governors have banned is the grazing of open grazing of cattle. The one most people know as malu or cow, all over the place. Where else in the world do you see people move cattle all over the place? Where there are other countries where people do animal husbandry. Even in Africa, you don't see them. So these old ways of doing things, and we not wanting to change. And then look at all the crises that this cattle grazing has caused. All the killings between farmers and herdsmen. These cattle eating up. Look, cattle grazing is a private business. I know a lot of Nigerians are involved in it, and it's a very it's a money spinning business. So anybody that wants to involve in cattle grazing, the person should be able to afford a ranch. Look, my brother Austin and Lamte, if I want to start a poultry, for instance, I have to get a land to put my chickens. So if I want to rear snails, if I want to have maybe other animals, so it's a private business. Government should not even be involved. So I don't know what Malami, the Attorney General, is bringing the government into it. And then the other man talking about Fulani, when the North, they were introducing Sharia, did they consult the governors of the South? When they introduced Hizbah police, did they consult governors in the South? Some of these things that some of these ill-informed people in the North talk about are some of the reasons why organizations like IPOB and people like Sunday Igboho, they are gaining traction. Because when you hear some of these northern leaders, ill-informed leaders, when you hear them talk, they just talk rubbish, and it is not healthy for us as a people.
Austin, are you dumbfounded?
I am. It is rather sad.
Just before you come in, I just want to try this clip. I think it's Malami. I just want to see if this is the right section of it, but we'll see so that we can hear directly from him and add them up.
For it optimally. Take, for example, a situation whereby a local government council is entitled, among others, to participate in the security arrangement of a state. And then the local government council chairman is denied of the fund to run the local government. With the fund, he can now deploy the resources down to the village head, down to some other associations operating with it. But now you deny him the resources available to make them available to a village head. Even if a village head has intelligence report about a crime.
Anyhow, it was in this part, it was trying to exemplify, this issue of ban on open grazing. It was trying to use the local government and the councils and all of that to justify a very weak argument he was making, on behalf of the Fulani, headers, as it were. Anyhow, Comrade Austin, come into this matter. What is your take
Thank
on
you
this
so much.
laughable matter?
I can't thank my brother enough, Dr. Tony Agbons. He has fully explained this, because there is one salient point that we need to bring out so that Nigerians don't get carried away and get confused with it. The act of open grazing that these governors ban is not human beings. Because in that clip, he did talk about the Igbos that are doing business in the north. Will you ask them to go away? Nobody has asked the northerners to go away from the south. Absolutely. It is the open grazing that we are banning. And Dr. Tony clearly stated that. I just want to re-emphasize that to our viewers. And also to say that I commend the governors for that bold step and bold initiative. What worries me in all this is the words of the Attorney General. And painfully enough, my brother Lamte, the governors that made this proclamation, they are also part of the ruling government. There are certain questions that journalists will ask you. You look at yourself, look at your office, and look at the sake of the country. You turn it down by not answering. You don't just go straight to the press to downplay proclamations made by the governors just immediately after the president in hierarchy of leadership. You come quickly to the governors in Nigeria setting, and these governors are from your parties. We need to be schooled in the way we talk about politics. We need to think of the implication to the other person and the country in general. Our Nigerian politicians have got a lot to learn on how they talk about West, especially as it borders on the country, Nigeria. And to hear that it's coming from those who are lawyers say they are learned. And if you are privileged to become the Attorney General of a country, you are the #1 most learned man in the country by virtue of that position.
No, Comrade Austin, sorry. I just want to interject here. Now, are you trying to say that the Attorney General was speaking for himself, or he was speaking for Buhari, his principal?
Well,
because at the stage where he was speaking, I didn't see Attorney General speaking his own mind, rather conveying to Nigerians, the position of Buhari on the matter.
I would answer that question. I'm a Catholic, and if a Reverend Father comes to speak on the pulpit, he cannot tell me that he is speaking as a Reverend Father, not he is speaking on his name or not as a Reverend Father. You get to a certain position in life, your position and where you stand speak. If he wasn't speaking for the government, he would have stated clearly in that clip that I am talking personally. So to answer your question strictly, he was speaking on behalf of the federal government and indeed President Buhari. If it were not so, I would have expected the presidency to give a statement shortly after that.
Beautiful.
Since there was no statement, then your question has been answered in clear terms. He was speaking on behalf of the federal government, and the federal government is led by our able president, Muhammadu Buhari.
Well, I will take President Buhari, but the able, I will find it difficult to agree to that.
Okay.
In that sense, what Malami said about open grazing, trying to say that the southern governors have no right because there's freedom of movement, we can directly say That is the position of Buhari, who wants open grazing to continue. Now, if that is the case, somebody called me day before yesterday and told me that there's a report of a very large herd of cows somewhere around Ogun State. They even moved into town in this, having banned this open grazing in southern part of Nigeria. Dr. Agbons, will Buhari allow open grazing to cease in the southern part of Nigeria?
Thank you, Comrade Lamptey. That, I would say, is left to be seen. But I want to say something, and this is very instructive in this matter. After the disgraceful pronouncement of Malami, when he was situating open cattle grazing with the selling of spare parts in the north,
yes,
actually referring to our Igbo brothers who are, and then look, Lamptey, when we were in primary school, we used to do what we call it opposite, and sometimes they will say compare. They say your teacher will say draw a table, draw like a cross and all that.
Compare and contrast.
Thank you, my brother. So this thing is very, so how will Malami be comparing cattle grazing and contextualizing it with selling of spare parts? That is on one side. Now, on the other side, I would say that the ban stays as it is. Notice something. Immediately Malami, because he was on Channels TV making that disgraceful talk, the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, released a press statement to say that the ban stays, and I'm really happy about that. And I must tell you that ban, even some moderate element in the north are even supporting it. I've seen a clip of the governor of Kano State, Ganduje, an old clip, where he himself was saying that this open grazing thing is outdated. So the earlier these people reform their mind, the better for the whole country, because it is this herdsmen, farmers clashes, kidnapping and all that has really heightened the level of insecurity in the land. Because the reasons the certain governors are doing this is that the level of insecurity is so high. People are not feeling safe. So the ban will remain. And I thank the Ondo State governor for quickly retracting and replying Malami.
Beautiful, sir. Sir, I want to ask this now as a follow-up to this. If the ban stays, is it not right, therefore, Austin, that as we are now in Edo State, we should start looking for the cows that are, that are grazing openly and start sharing them amongst our people for pepper soup?
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamptey. Just to also add, before I answer your question, in that letter written, there was a letter that was written shortly after the lousy statement by the Attorney General, which was signed by the governor of the Southern Governors Forum, Arakuri Oluwarotimi. He stated there categorically, and he gave the federal government an option, that they have an option to go to court, and they will be happy to meet themselves in court where it will be tested. Having made that pronouncement by the governors, I think they have a responsibility now to go back to their states and put machineries in place to prevent open grazing. I will not say that we should have the cows immediately for pepper soup, but there should be a window given by these states to these people that are involved in the business, both the men that take the cow and those that have the business. There should be a time frame for them to say that put your hands together so that you can go back. And where they go against it, the governors of those states can then.
Austin, sorry to interrupt you, sir. I think we have a caller. Hello, sir. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
My name is Lucky. I'm calling for Italy.
Go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Oh, thank you. God bless you. I worship people. Thank you. I love what people are doing. Please, what about cow issue is people are talking about? The thing, the matter easy to solve. Why I said so? It may be, for example, say maybe.
Go ahead.
So it may be for an thing, me when they talk to you, so I be any governor from any region. I know what good for my citizens. I know what not good for my citizens. I cannot wait for somebody to tell me, say, man, please leave, accommodate cow. I know they are not good for my environment. I need to tell them, man, if they want create a space for them to do their business, for if they don't want to create a space for them, let them live for my state, so that my people will get my people will get peace. Simple as it is, nothing more than that. If because the cow their personal business. You know, the statistics people ain't get up. If they want to die, let them die now to take their business. You know that it will destroy anything. You understand? Where we there, so what about they see what they happen here. You understand? So nothing more than this, sir. I don't get him lie. Nothing more than this.
Thank you.
If they want to do the business, let them say okay, maybe if they want to sell land, if you wanna say yes, if you wanna say no, hope they not dey. For them to call it after they spread don't farm for 1 year. Go spread their yam, go spread their plantain.
No, you're not good.
Sir, the thing,
You get us a bit.
the thing when the time comes, the fight go past Fulani SNO. The fight go on past because as we did, so our papa and mama they farm when they want to survive for once in a year.
Thank you, my brother.
If you happen to my mama that they talk to you so much, sir, I don't care not to spend 700,000.
No worry. It not go happen. It not go happen. Thank you very much for your call. So the man has made a very sensible one. It's a good point. But continue, sir.
Yeah, so thank you very much, my brother Lucky from Italy, for that very good contribution. So I think the governors, we should not, like I was trying to say, we shouldn't kill the cows and have them for pepper soup. They should be told to go back.
Not yet, you mean?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, okay.
And a window created for them to go. And I would also say to the southern governors, we don't need to hear this, but I think all the state governors should be putting legislature in place within their local assembly to give this a full backing and empower those that will enforce it. It has to go, really. And again, I don't know why the federal government is so concerned about this. I haven't read, maybe Tony Agbons, who is an academic and a researcher and a marketing guru, will be able to tell me this. I don't know what amount of money does this cattle ranching remit to the federal government. Has it got any effect on our GDP? Why is the federal government so keen on defending this that is solely a personal business? I don't understand.
That is a question for my brother Tony Agbons. Why I was actually coming there. Why is the federal government of Nigeria picking more interest in cow business? Where so many other businesses are around. So many. I have a friend who has got, a poultry farm that is not very flourishing. You understand what I'm saying now? Government has not, made it a policy matter to discuss how poultry farms should survive or any other thing for that matter. Why cow? And under this administration, most especially.
Brother, we all know that our president is the patron of the Miyetti Allah organization. So that is the umbrella body that looks after all these people that have a cow business. And we all know that this cattle business, a lot of these are northern politicians. And then to some extent, some of our people in the south are also involved. So it is the main business they do. So they have not been able to separate their personal business from how it affects governance and other people because of their greed. Like that our brother from Italy.
Is that an impeachable offense?
It is. Like that our brother from Italy said just now. You see, a lot of our people, they have cassava farm, yam farm, plantain. And all these cows will just go there, eat. You will know how cow eat. They will eat everything up. So that is why all over the world, they do ranching. Cow, they stay in one place, and then they move around large expansion. Maybe they say in the north, they have land now. So they have land. That is what we always get during census, that their land is bigger, their people, they are men. So they should be able to provide all these things there. So when the cow is mature for eating, then they can decide to, okay, put them in vehicles and start selling. So it is really, really baffling that anytime you just talk about cattle, government official will just be responding. Federal government, they will leave the important. Malami will not talk about security issue. He will not talk about the issue of restructuring the country. He will not talk about the issue of laws that will make life better for Nigerians. They will not talk about electricity. They won't talk about education. All we are hearing in Nigeria is cow, cow, cow. I'm getting really sick and tired of hearing all this.
It is sickening. It is honestly sickening. Anyhow, well, we will leave it at that. It's an open-ended matter. We're going to keep on talking about it. There's no doubt about that. Dr. Agbons, I know you do have one matter concerning the governors giving their backing to the pump price.
Yes. The Nigerian Governors Forum is a body we all know in Nigeria, very powerful. They recently met, and report reaching us has it that they have proposed to the federal government because the government has been talking about the complete deregulation of the downstream sector of the Nigeria oil industry. They are proposing the pump price of petrol to be 385 naira per liter. My brother, this is not a good proposal at all, coming from the governors. This talking about the 36 governors of Nigeria. I don't know, comrade, what is your take on this?
To be honest, my brothers, I think that this matter is a matter that we will not. It's not going to be a 2 minutes discussion. I think we should defer this matter to the next week because we have come towards the end of our program right now. But be that as it may, we really need to find out which governor signed up to this. And it is essential that each of these governors go back to their states and tell their people what they are signed up to and the rationale behind their signing up to these things. If the governor of Edo State was part of this arrangement, he should come to Edo people and let Edo people know why, the rationale. Because if the people of Nigeria are not carried along as far as this matter is concerned, then there's going to be a problem. That's what I think. But looking at the way the economic situation of Nigeria is right now, I think that is a diabolic proposal, to be very honest. And it's may I reserve them? I think we'll talk about it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, because of time. Austin, 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you so much.
As we roll this matter to another time, but 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Tony, for introducing the matter. It's unfortunate we haven't got time now, but we'll talk about it again. But Comrade Lamte, you couldn't have been more clear. The governors that have made this should think of the hardship that is going to cost to Nigerians, especially when salaries have not been increased. Even the old ones are not being paid. How do citizens cope? Food for thought.
Thank you, my brother, pharmacist Austin. So I'll hand over back to you, comrade.
Yes, there's another matter that I'm sure, I hope it gets resolved before next week. But if not, we are going to talk about it. But I want to mention it here. It's been making the round. Some people have called me because of this matter. And what they said was that one generous Edo man, okay, went to, hear the cry of Ishan people, Ishan Central Hospital at Irua. And this generous Edo man, donated, a building to the general hospital. A&E build, accident and emergency department. Built it, equipped it according to their information. It's been making the round. A lot of Haitian brothers have been talking, some Edo people have been talking. Now, the man has completed the project to be handed over to the hospital so that the building can be put to use. And they are saying that the governor of Edo State needs to come and commission it. The governor is not coming to commission it. The governor is paying deaf ears. The governor, everything has been like... So somebody called me and was talking about this matter. and that he was asking me to help reach the governor so that the governor will go and commission that building at Irua. And the question I asked the person was that Irua Hospital is a government facility. Nobody can just stroll into a government facility and start putting a building or pulling one down. The person who came, or the people who came to come and help support the hospital, they came through a channel. There's a CMD in that hospital. There's a managing board in that hospital. If they had come through a channel to make contributions towards the hospital, why can't they equally go through the same channel to get this particular building, okay, what's it called, the government, commissioned by the government? Why are you not, everybody, they are troubling the entire internet space. Who knows Governor Obaseki should tell Governor Obaseki to go and commission that building. It's a good donation, but this. Look, if a thing like this has happened, I agree very strongly that it is a massive philanthropic effort by that brother, Okpewolo as they call him, and the others who made this contribution. However, we must understand that governance work in certain pattern. If Okpewolo, as they mentioned his name, had made this massive contribution to the Irua Central Hospital, as it were, which is great, which is noble, I salute him. May God continue to bless him for this initiative to, of course, support, you know, our infrastructural development as far as Edo State is concerned. Now, on the issue of commissioning, it is not the noise people are making on Facebook and on YouTube that would get government to the place. There are procedures. Irua Central Hospital has a medical director, has an administrative board, and whoever may have gone to Irua Central Hospital to make this contribution did pass through certain protocols. So the advice is that the same protocol should be used to get the government of Edo State to come and commission the project, so that I put it to use. Because if the CMD of Irua wants the government of Edo State to come and commission a project in Irua Central Hospital, all he needs to do is to go through the relevant offices of government. Go through the office of the Secretary of State Government. With even a memo, the government will receive the message. So the noise that everybody's making on Facebook, on YouTube, oh, governor not gonna come, this, that, I think, man, we should stop and be better informed. If the man had built a private hospital, okay, he doesn't need government to come and commission it. But if the man has started this particular building, the accident and emergency ward in Irua Hospital, he must have done so passing through certain protocols within the hospital. And those same protocols should be used to get that building commissioned. If the government of Edo State is required in that matter, those protocols can actually get the government attention to get this thing done. So that it will not be a matter that will be disturbing everybody, you know, when you want just relax, making the watch better thing for your phone, can't see many talk about. And all of these things, some people are even catching in on this matter to try to smear the governor of Edo State, and which is not fair, to be very honest. There are procedures. So I'm just reporting this, my brother, the comrades. You know, this is part of what has been going on. It's been going viral. A lot of people are becoming, you know, part of the whole matter, the charade I will call it, talking here, talking there, you know, and all of that. And all of this smearing the... I mean, just give us 1 minute to respond to this matter, you know, starting from Agbons.
There are channels. You and I cannot just go to a government hospital, and let's say Stella Obasanjo in Benin City Central Hospital, and then I start putting a building there without approval. So there are channels, and I think they should follow the appropriate channel and do the right thing.
Yes, Austin, please.
Yeah, I just want to add that I thank the gentleman that did this building, but I think we should be matured. What is this idea of commissioning? Must commissioning be done by the governor? There's commissioner for health, there is CMD and all the necessary stuff. I just want to also say, to appeal to the ASAN people. I know with the issue of after Obaseki is going to the ASAN land, let's be careful, let's do things right, and let's not bring things that are not too important and drag the government into it. Obaseki doesn't necessarily need to go and commission the facility, the commissioner for health, even the CMD of the
No,
hospital.
we don't have commissioner now. We don't have commissioner, so maybe the permanent secretary, Ministry of Health,
something like that. So please, and if it's a pure donation, let God reward that gentleman, and we don't need so much noise about it.
Thank you very much. I want to quickly, of course, thank Roland Idenoje Abwede. I think it's correcting me to say that it must be Uromi in Irwa, not Irwa. I said Uromi. Okay, that is where this Uromi Central Hospital, I think, and that is where this building is sited and all of that. Thank you very much for that correction. I think it must be that, as a matter of fact. But this is what has been going on for some days now, and I just thought I'd mention it because I've received about 3 calls. People just calling to say, man, talk to the governor of Edo State to go and, I mean, it's, I don't understand. Anyhow, Edo people and Nigerians across the world, I want to thank everybody who's been part of this process. It's been the Comrade Show, and it's been Comrade and Friends. We've tried to look at a number of things. We started from the Chief of Army Staff who died in a plane crash recently. He's been buried. We equally talked about Governor Ayade of Cross River State, who defected to the APC from the PDP. We tried to, equally look at the governors, the fallout of the governors forum, and the response that has been coming from different parts of the country. Very unbalanced, a view and response from some very unexpected quarters, that we are supposed to hold in very high esteem. Of course, we've looked at some of these things. The Comrade Show, the Comrade and Friends, is one segment that is dedicated to national issues, and that is what we keep doing. It's a Sunday tonic, like one of us has famously named it, and we are keeping it like that. On Sunday next, we're going to be back again. But before we leave, I just want to once again condole with the families of the late General Ibrahim Atairu, the Chief of Army Staff, and of course the other Nigerians that died in that plane crash. Some of the stories are very sad, very sad. One of the young men, one of the pilots, was one person who just got married not too long ago, and there have been pockets of sad stories all around this particular event, particularly affecting the Nigerians affected by this crash. And of course, like Dr. Agbon said, incessantly we are having, this issue of plane crash here and there. We've had 3, within a very short space of time. And of course, it begs the question, what is happening really to, our fleets, particularly, those of the military, as it were. The President of Nigeria travels out of Nigeria every now and again. The other day was in the UK. He went to France now. I don't know why he's even back from France. They even went with two private jets, 2 presidential jets to France. You understand what I'm saying? And all of that. So, and nothing like this is happening to the president's fleet. But why are these things happening to our own military, planes and all of that? We are losing our best. The other day, we lost one young girl, beautiful prospect, and all of this shouldn't be happening. And so some of us are concerned, and Nigerians, when things like this happen, we want to look at the possibility of foul play and all of that. So, well, it remains to be seen what happens. It's a matter we are going to follow closely. We're going to watch very closely, and we'll see what happens. But we definitely condole with the families of those that died in that particular crash. On the issue of PDP, of course, we've talked about a lot of things. And on this program, we have reached out to the governor of Edo State not to join the fleet of these decampees who are moving from one party to the other. And of course, we have said that there should be ideology as a guiding principle. If you're a member of a political party, let us It is hard time Nigerians begin to know what is the ideology behind every party. Because right now everything is just similar. Whether APC or PDP, it's all the same. There is no clear-cut ideological difference between any of the parties. You know, I am Labour in the UK. I am Labour. There's a very clear distinction between Labour and Conservative. We are not in government right now. You understand what I'm saying, and all of that. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean I'm going to move to become conservative tomorrow. You understand? Even if the Labour is not in government in the next 20 years, I am still Labour. It is the character, you know, that I met here, that we met here in the UK. Who is conservative is conservative. It's a very difficult thing to say somebody cross-carpeting. When you do, you lose everything. You understand what I'm saying? And so we said, look, the National Assembly need to revisit those laws of cross-carpeting. If you are holding, you have been elected, you know, as a governor, as a elected or executive under one political party. When you cross to another political party, there should be a by-election immediately to fill your position. If you win, you win. If you don't win, let somebody else take over. Not that you've been elected as a PDP or as APC, you cross carpet, you are still that officer. It doesn't make sense. We probably need to overhaul all of these things and all of that. Of course, we've looked at the 2023 permutations in line with all of this. And of course, a lot of these things are open-ended. We follow them and we keep on following them. On that note, my people, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who's been part of this program. For those who have shared, we thank you. Israel 7 there, thank you very much. I see you. Bella Lucky, Lillian, oh, my sister, God bless you. Yeah, Roland, Idenoji, thank you very much. Pius Osalumensi, thank you so very much. George Omerigi Okbame, Frederick Echator, thank you. You guys have been wonderful. Even the callers that have called, that called into the program, we thank you guys. Please find time to join us anytime we are on like this so that we can be discussing the Nigerian issue. On a final note, I want to let people know that in the coming days, I'm going to be having an extensive discourse on the ASAN agenda movement. It's a matter that has recently generated so much dust. But we're going to lay some of this dust to rest in my discourse. Catch me up in the coming days. We're going to be talking about it. I'm probably going to be bringing on somebody, you know, to discuss it, you know, in one of our programs, our segment, Hard Talk. We need to talk about it. And of course, take it from us. When we discuss it, lay to rest at that level. On that note, my people, I want to bring on the Musketeers to say, well, a final goodbye for now until we come again your way. Yes, I'll start with my brother, Austin. Pharmacist Comrade Austin Iremiran.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lanty, and thank you so much, my brother, Dr. Tony Agbons. I want to apologize again to our viewers. At the start of the program, my internet went off, but thank God I was able to be back again because I really, really enjoy our Sunday tonic. I didn't have the opportunity to express my condolences to Nigerians and the family of our departed brothers, the chief of staff and others who died. May God rest their soul and may God grant courage and fortitude to the family that they've left behind, and then may their blood water the seed that will grow freedom and betterment for our country, Nigeria. On that note, I say thank you so much for listening to us. God bless you. Have a very happy Pentecost Sunday for our Christian brothers, and continue to do the best until we meet you again next week.
Thank you very much, my brother, Comrade Austin Iremiran. We probably have in the house the other Musketeer is Comrade Dr. Tony Agbons. Dr. Agbons.
Thank you very much, my brother, Comrade Lamte Ikponwosa Oriaki, OSA. My brother, pharmacist Austin Iremiran. It's always a pleasure, you know, doing this discussion with you guys every Sunday. Our people who have been watching and making comments on our page, both on YouTube and on Facebook, thank you all so much. You are the reason why we are here, and we'll keep the narrative going. We will keep the discourse, put everything on the burner, and we are not leaving anything out of the table. I want to wish you all a very happy new week. God bless you all.
Thank you, my brother. So on that note, my people, thank you. Patience Rabo, I see you. Rosemary Excel Tukubo, Thank you so very much. You guys are wonderful light angels. Yes, Bella Lucky, I equally see you. Kingsley Eboigbe, thank you. All you guys have been very wonderful. We come your way again. It's been the Comrade Show. Yes, let's stay with this. And bye for now.
Ivie doni yane sesese ni enegbe bahia mwegbe na ya simi usirina donu gboriri won me nana wege ya fian ga yarame na rije na afian magi gabie abi pata izigan kewa kanakpan na si anri yoto kian yewo wa kine pena mu ewe utezi edera mu ihun kioma umiewo ni ari abayo aba kumazi sokpan magazo ebiyo na ruru pa yote ma ere biebi yari doha ona iwinari oba pa zevi dolewo we na ruru pari dun ye dogbonu ye yari ye nwana aba yo boru ri mi biebi na aduza ere ni ma yari dora bi efan we ri be dora angeli owu pa re do otu angeli pa bu hun otagbon tuyuku gbagba yo ne be ni ara ya wi yo bo nu pa mi na gba odin do ya usetin ti hun taro tuna Comrade Lamte Pongosa Oriahi Uvien Owutamuta +4474 438 229 094 Donu Zomo Agege Yuwabo Urupa Mahin.
Lighting up Edo State together. Be a light angel to Edo State. Donate light to your street today. Let's do it together.
This is the Comrade Lamte Oriahi, live on Facebook and YouTube. Like us, follow us, and be the first to know. This is the Comrade Show.